When you die, you'd expect at least somebody to notice, right? Not always. In fact, the following people lay dead and alone in their homes for years before anybody even came looking. Number 7. Het Veiga. The remains of Het Veiga, a Croatian woman, sat unfound in front of her TV for 42 years before anybody found her. Apparently, she made herself a cup of tea, sat down in her favourite armchair, and just died. Despite numerous complaints by tenants who had thought nobody had been using the flat since the 1960s, and requests from city services that the apartment be broken into and checked out, nothing was ever done. That is, until 2008, when police broke into the apartment and found the woman. The cup she was drinking from still sat on the table next to her, and the house was full of items the world hadn't seen for a very long time. Number 6. David Carter. In 2012, a real estate agent entered a foreclosed house after it was repossessed. Inside, he found the body of David Carter, hanging over the stairs with a bullet hole in his head and a handgun on his chest. Friends of David thought he had quit his job as a nuisance control officer in Milwaukee and moved to New Mexico. What they didn't know is that David actually committed suicide at the end of 2007 and remained undiscovered for 4 whole years. Number 5. Joyce Vincent. In 2006, officials repossessing an apartment in North London due to rent arrears made a very grim discovery. The skeleton of 38-year-old Joyce Vincent was lying on the couch, surrounded by unopened Christmas presents, with the telly still going. She had been dead for almost 3 years and went undiscovered, despite the smell of decomposition coming from her apartment. Her body was so badly decomposed that the only way to identify her was to compare dental records to a photograph of her smiling. Her cause of death was never really concluded due to the state of her remains, but it is believed that she died of natural causes. Number 4. Geneva Chambers. In 2013, a landscaper came across the decomposed body of 68-year-old Geneva Chambers in her Florida home. Officials learned that Chambers preferred solitude, was not friendly with the neighbours, and once angrily yelled at a woman who offered her cookies. Neighbours believed that Chambers had abandoned the house, and they continued to maintain her lawn. Little did they know that Chambers' dead body lay inside for 3 years. Chambers was never reported missing during this time, and no friends or relatives even attempted to contact her. She must have led an incredibly lonely life. Number 3. Simon Allen. Simon Allen, a 50-year-old loner, lay dead behind an armchair in the living room of his Brighton flat for 2 years before anyone realised he had even died. His body was discovered in 2012 by cleaners, who had come to clear his flat due to the rent not being paid for 3 months. Neighbours said that the hallway outside his flat had a musty smell, but they hadn't suspected anything out of the ordinary. Police were unable to trace any of Simon's family or friends to even inform them of his death. Number 2. The Unidentified Man in France. The body of an unidentified elderly man was found in a house believed to be abandoned in northern France after a health and safety inspector went to examine the property. It is believed that the man, who was found lying in bed, still wearing his pajamas, had died 15 years earlier. He was of Spanish descent, lived alone, and had no close relatives, which kind of explains why no one noticed he had died. Number 1. Barbara Salinas Norman. In 2013, the mummified remains of Barbara Salinas Norman, 70, were found in her New Mexico home. It is believed that she had been dead inside her apartment for over a year. Salinas had previously been a prominent children's author, activist, and teacher, but had, in recent years, become a recluse. Her body was eventually discovered by her brother-in-law, who had visited her home after not hearing from her for over 2 years. Upon entering the home, he described the odour as awful and found her mummified body inside. An autopsy revealed that Salinas died of natural causes.